victor from last week in the Tri-Cities, the U-27, the red, white, and blue, the Miss Apollo, and there is the man fresh off a victory in the Gold Cup, Dave Villwock, soon to be inducted in the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. Quite a story there. This guy knows Lake Washington. He could probably drive this place blindfolded. I suggest he doesn't do that, but he probably could. And then Gunnar. See if he can just go out and collect. That's what it's all about. Get points. There he is. Gunnar O'Farrell, driver of the U-21, the Spirit of America. It's red, white, and blue. Got gold on the decks. And we're 4 minutes and 35 seconds away from the start. Tanner, we got to put the Beacon Plumbing in the rearview mirror. Time to go racing here. Heat 1B of the Apollo Mechanical Cup at Seafair.
Yeah, and just a reminder on Gunnar, his break-in miles have been achieved. He did a great job back there in Tri-Harbors and drove around the outside, collected points, got a lot of second place points. But now that he's got that under his belt, maybe he has a chance to be a little more aggressive. And he's going against one of the masters in the business here. In Heat 1B with Dave Villwock, who we've seen him use the strategy many times of parking on the inside with a couple minutes to go, really locking out that inside lane. We'll see if he does that here.
Before you got on the pipes here this morning, I was talking with Brent Hall during our test session. We were talking about Gunnar O'Farrell, and he made a comment about Gunnar and his mullet hairdo. Did you hear that comment?
I sure did not.
He was talking about it. Maybe everybody knows this comment except me. He says, I like that hairdo. He said, it's business in the front and a party in the back. I hadn't heard that one before. Maybe that's an old one.
That's how I live my life, a quarter mile at a time,
3:25 until the start. Jeff Bernard comes down across start-finish line. He is on an inside line right now. Where is Dave? Is Dave even away from the dock? No, he's not. He's coming out right now. And again, this is the same thing he did last week in the Tri-Cities. Every single heat, he was the last boat out on the race course, and he just came out and tooled slowly up the backstretch. You going to do it again?
Well, he did it exactly 3 minutes at Tri-Cities. I was watching his guys literally count it down to push the boat off the dock. He's 10 seconds early this time. Must have just felt right. Followed right in line. He doesn't need a warm-up lap. I mean, he's, like you said, he can get around here blindfold. And but the other boats are slowing on the inside as well, almost ready for his strategy this time.
Yeah, and I think right now at 2:40 until the start, I think that Bernard there on the inside and Gunnar O'Farrell in lane 2, I think they're just going to continue to cruise around, and they'll come down and score up at the minute 15 mark. They've got a little over a minute to kill. Dave's going to come up behind him, and Dave's coming up with a lot more speed than he did last week. Let's see what Dave does. He's going to pull up on the outside, but now that's going to make those two guys off to his left have to think about this a little bit, because Dave could give it a squirt and move left. He could certainly do that on Gunnar. Now, it's interesting. Gunnar's on an inside lane right now. Not the inside lane, but he's at least sitting in between boats. He still has plenty of time if he wants to move to the outside.
Yeah, it's the first time we've seen Gunnar fighting for the inside. All the boats giving each other a lot of respect there. So maybe there's some shenanigans to be had after they cross the start-finish line, but they have 30 seconds before the score-up is complete.
And actually, I don't think anything's going to change. I think these guys like where they are. I think Jeff wanted to be in lane number 1. I think Dave wants to be on the outside. I think, honestly, Dave in the back of his mind thinks I've got this field covered. And I think he will just take his time and run them down on the outside. Gunnar has found himself now on an inside lane, coming up on 1:20. Remember, you cannot cross the start-finish line until 1 minute and 15 seconds. That's 2 seconds. 1 mark right there. It's a clean score. Now Dave gives it a little squirt. So does Jeff. Jeff says no, but the key is so does Gunnar. Gunnar is in between boats. So Gunnar is doing his job to protect that lane inside Dave and Jeff.
Now Gunnar may find himself in the hallway, as it were, in turn 1, which, I mean, it's what an amazingly difficult, technical, dangerous place to be. So for Gunnar, it's going to be critical that he gets right on the clock for this start and gives himself a clean turn 1.
And I can hear Mr. Jeff Bernard in there right now saying something about turnabout is fair play, because it was those same two boats last week, except it was Jeff Bernard that got caught in the hallway and was given ground to the boats on either side, and it got very, very difficult. Top end of the race course. Boats are going to come down. This time we will be racing. The lanes they are in now are the lanes they are going to race in. Going to be Bernard in 1. Going to be Gunnar O'Farrell in lane number 2 on the outside. It is going to be Dave Villwock. We have lost our clock here. We're inside 15. We're coming up on 10 seconds. In fact, now we're down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, I think it's a clean start if our clock was right, but Jeff had to pull back on the throttle, so he didn't have boat speed, and Gunnar and Dave are both going to pull up on him. It's a clean start down to the lower corner. Jeff Bernard going to come out with a 3 or 4 boat length lead, but he's got Gunnar and Dave right in that right side rear view mirror.
Gunnar survived that first turn. Dave is just teeing it up now, trying to add that boat speed. Sure enough, Dave on the outside of Gunnar's made the pass. Gunner's going to have to shoot through the hallway in turn 2. But Jeff extending his lead coming into turn 2 after first lap.
Yeah, careful, Gunnar. You're back there going to be in the hallway, and Gunnar is sticking his nose in there. But Jeff Bernard showing some serious speed here. There's Dave. Where's Gunnar? There he is. Lots of lane space up there. Dave has gotten around Gunnar, and he's going to set sail for Jeff Bernard. Jeff does not want to give this position up. This is going to be good. Gunnar is dropping back. Jeff's got about 2/3 of a rooster tail, but he's got a right side mirror full of Dave Villwock, Tanner.
Well, at this point, Dave is probably still too close to cut it all the way into lane 2. Gunnar doing a great job of hugging the inside. Actually, Gunnar crosses over. Is he looking for the inside lane? He sure is. But Jeff still extending, well, holding his lead. Dave is really chasing him down, actually.
He certainly is, but Jeff Bernard, he is no stranger to this position. He knows what to do. Watch how the line changes as he goes through this corner. Is he going to stay tight? Is he going to go wide? Jeff is going to go wide. He's going to make Dave run a big course up there at the top end. They're going to come down and put lap number 2 of 3 in the books. And it is Jeff Bernard, and he's going to have to hold off Dave for one more lap. And right now, he's open the water. He's got a rooster tail and a half.
Yeah, he sure is, and he did exactly what you said. He started out tight and pushed Dave wide on the last one, and that cost Dave probably 5 boat lengths. I'm not sure he's got enough to make up for it, and he's doing the same thing at the top of the course.
Yeah, he is doing the same thing. It's called hiding the buoys. When you get a guy on your hip like that, they can't see the buoys. They can't see them, so they've got to drive off your arc. He's got radio guys trying to tell him, and I think the radio guys just told Dave, let him go. This is the final lap there at the top end. It seemed like Dave pulled his foot a little bit, and now he has definitely dropped back. Jeff Bernard, here's a surprise in our Heat 1B. Jeff Bernard, the former T6 Budweiser, after a tough weekend last weekend on the Columbia River, opens up with a bang here, and on the water, he has got a first place finish. Wow, how about that one?
Well, I'm starting to feel a little bit like bad luck. I had picked Jeff Bernard last weekend for the pick the prop, and he broke 2 props.
Yeah.
Which I think might be a world record. One in a GP boat, one in an H1. And now he's not my pick, and he's winning the heat. So
we might have to get with the stat man here and find out who picked him and picked the prop. Who picked U12?
Oh, is that? Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh,
I've got him.
Oh, we're just losing money standing here. Gosh.
It's a tough sport. Tough sport. So remember, our finish order is only as it is on the water. They have to go through tech inspection. However, our officials have told us the racing, Tanner, this is really important, the racing was clean on the water, so there's not going to be any on the water infractions. The only thing we have to wait now for is the tech truck. This is a big change within H1 Unlimited last year. We are starting to get very quick information from the chief referee that the racing is clean on the water, meaning once you hear about tech inspection, that is your official winner. So how about that for Jeff Bernard?
Yeah, that's great. And, Dave, he did seem like he had the speed to run him down after the first lap. But as soon as he did exactly like you said he would and pushed him a little bit wide, that was that. So Brad has literally just taken his headset off and walked away. We're going to take a break here as we look at Jeff Bernard make his way back to the dock. We're going to find out from the officials, make sure everybody's clean in tech, make sure their fuel flow and their N2 is all within legal limits, which takes a few minutes after the boats are back at the dock. you see them pop open a hatch over on the right sponson there. It's the first thing that happens once the boats get to the dock is an official goes in there, pulls out the black box, and analyzes that data. They have their own computer that gets their own data separate from the team, so make sure that it's something that can't be hacked or tampered with. But that's a very happy Graham Trucking racing team there, and Jeff Bernard, after one of the worst weekends of his career last weekend, getting a little bit of vindication.